Alrighty. Oh man. I wonder if April will make me a coffee. I sat down. Alright, email after email after email after email. It's the weekend, baby. We made it, y'all. We made it. It didn't feel like on Monday that we would, but we made it. Yeah, man. So, it's a 3-day weekend, which is nice. It gives us some time to work on some things. Sometimes when people get extra time, you know what they like to do? They like to blow it. They don't really use their time to their fullest as it is now. So I want to remind you that for at least in America, I don't know internationally, Monday is a holiday for Labor Day. Most likely you're off. So that doesn't mean you take a 3-day weekend and go out of town. And I mean, you can if depending on what you're trying to do. But like me, I'm trying to save $100,000. So I'm out here grinding and hustling and bustling, all that sort of stuff. So what am I going to be doing this weekend? Well, I have some sponsored videos I have to work on. I have some courses I need to work on. I have a syllabus I need to work on. So LinkedIn is having me do a course for LinkedIn Learning, and so I'm working on the syllabus for that. And I have my project video dev docs that I'm going to be working on, and some YouTube videos. So, and a podcast. That is going to be what I'm going to be working on in my 3-day weekend. Get ahead a little bit, grind a little bit, grow a little bit. Ain't that right, Tito? Spend some time with Tito. Da-da-da-da-da. Da-da-da-da-da. Oh man. But my boy Tito, he understands. Tito's here for moral support and to put claw marks in my legs on occasion. But we're actually getting pretty close to getting the main infrastructure for the web app up that I've been working on. Woo! I got your pooch. How's it going, guys? So, I'm pretty excited by that. Good morning. LinkedIn Learning, they do an advance and then royalties after the fact, but you have to pay back your advance. Would you consider a paid internship as experience to help you get better jobs on a resume? Yeah. I was actually just having this conversation with a recruiter not too long ago, like literally today. So very soon, because I was talking with a buddy about are there non-competes? No. At least not for what I'm doing. Every contract's probably a little bit different. Although I imagine a lot of them are the same. So I was talking with the recruiters today about putting all your work history on your LinkedIn, and they said that they would prefer for all your work history not to be on it and only relevant things. So that sort of changed my eye. I also had to talk about using incomplete education or anything like that. Jacob Curtis, if you're getting offered a paid internship 3 months into learning, you should absolutely take it. Absolutely, 100%, no questions asked. I'm a little Tito, short and stout. Here is my pooch, and here is my snout. Yeah. I can't. So like I don't work as well when he's in my lap because. So this is Tito, because when he was a kitten, I was at home a lot because I was unemployed and I was like streaming for a living and going to school, and he would just sit in my lap. can we do competitive programming in JavaScript? You can do competitive programming in anything, but most likely you'll see more higher level languages like Python or C# or Java. Why do small businesses need an e-commerce website? E-commerce websites nowadays? Well, I mean, it's really sort of. I mean, what's a business at the end of the day? They're either selling goods or they're selling services, and it's much easier to sell goods and services over the internet. So that's why you need a lot of. That's why you have so many e-commerce platforms. All right, you don't typically start a business just to spend time. You want to get money out of it, right? Oh man, my stomach's all jacked up. Tito. But yeah, that was because I was having this discussion about this LinkedIn past resume, and my thoughts on LinkedIn specifically was that it was good to have your old experience on there just to show that you're not some lazy bum. But my buddy thought differently, and it turns out that typically, so because you can download a candidate's template, so now I take off all my experience. I did today. I was like, all right, you know what? Recruiter said it's bad. It's bad. That's it. That's who I'm trying to attract, right? That's who you're trying to attract, getting recruiters' attention. Do I use Flex or Grid? Usually use CSS Grid. I'm a little Tito, short and stout. Here's my nip and here's my stout. Is the Myrn Stack a lot in demand? I'm attending an online bootcamp in India. Shouldn't you? Here's a question. Here's some of that deeper level thinking. Shouldn't you already know the answer to that question before you go to a bootcamp? Like, I would want to know. Like if I was going to college, let me put it this way: when I went to college, the way I chose my degree was finding out what was in demand, and I would do the same thing. But yes, the Myrn Stacks very much so in demand in the U.S. Is grid just a preference? Yeah, more or less. Grid is a little bit more flexible in the sense that you have horizontal and vertical aspects that you're controlling. It also gives you some additional tools that Flex doesn't. But the trade-off to that is that you don't have as much compatibility. Yeah, just because the Myrn stack's in demand doesn't mean the mean stack isn't. Ow, Tito, you better. He looks like he's about to whack me. I don't know what he's getting so upset about. I'm gonna throw you down if you keep giving me the stink eye. Grumpy cat. Oh man. Yeah. I need that coffee. What am I grinding on this weekend? Well, I have to record. I gotta reach out to Eric to see if we're doing any podcasts. We usually do, so there'll be some podcasts. I got tutor April a little bit. I'm then working on video dev docs. I gotta record YouTube videos, and I have some sponsor videos I have to record, and I need to start working on a course syllabus. So quite a bit. Oh, also there's a hurricane, so I'm not really going anywhere this weekend, so I'll be inside. Although I don't really go anywhere on the weekends. Anyhow. So quite a bit, yeah. Which course am I launching? I can't talk about it yet. But I'm working on something for LinkedIn Learning. Would I specify intern on my resume? Um, mm, it's a hard question. I definitely would if I was asked about it. If I was doing a junior engineer role, I would, yes. Some people might not, and I wouldn't blame you, but I would definitely um I wouldn't blame you for not putting it on there, and then if asked or confirmed, I'd follow up with it. I banned you for asking questions related to college and technology. I lost a lot of respect, man. Um, I doubt that's why I banned you. I probably banned you because you were whining. That seems like something somebody would be whining would say. How to make coding interesting? Look, man, if you don't like coding, find a different job. Honestly, life's too short for you to be miserable and bored, for that matter. There's great money in IT. Yeah. Can I ask some technical questions? Yeah, go for it, man. You should just prioritize. Kyle, you should prioritize building a side project that you're going to work on long term, and just finishing up school in the meantime. Do I have any thoughts on launch code? Yes. If you're able to do it, do it. That's my thoughts. I think it's a cool idea. Just don't get stuck in this infinite loop. Usually, I think the goal is for you to get hired at the end of it, but I also think that some people some people take unpaid internships and do very well, and some people don't. Generally speaking, I'm against unpaid internships, but launch code is sort of an exception because they have sort of different ambitions. Is it better when there are a lot of devs in a company, each programmer has limited tasks, and there's less, and each programmer is more general tasks? It really depends about what your what your style is and where you're at in your career. Earlier on, you'll probably be working at smaller companies because that's who will give you jobs, and you'll have a more general idea where you might have to do a little bit of everything. I'm starting to mentor a friend of mine who's getting started with college. Something to put on the CV? I think it is. I think it's great. Ooh. How many hours per day? On the weekdays, about an hour and a half to 2 hours. On the weekends, it depends. There's some days I put like 12 hours in, but it really depends. I would say probably somewhere between 4 and 12. I prefer building a node, but my hosting provider is Bluehost. How can I upload to Bluehost? I don't know. You'd have to see how Bluehost handles node servers. You may not be able to. What do I mean by long-term side project? Think of something that you'd like to work on to continue to grow your skill set. That would be an impressive thing to developers and to a hiring manager. But yeah, if you're an aspiring developer and you're trying to become a developer, I recommend you do about 3 to 4 hours a day, which is a lot, but that's what it takes. Thank you, baby. I was probably whining. Didn't you say you wanted to be a teacher? What if you had a student whining? Would you ban him from the class? Yes. So, I only plan on teaching adults. So, yeah. Let's get something straight here, guys. Let's get something straight. Nobody here is entitled to anything from me. Do you understand? Do I appreciate you guys following my career? Do I appreciate you learning from my resources? Absolutely. Do I appreciate telling you about my latest course, the 100 front-end interview questions challenge, which is a #1 seller, or bestseller rather, in the front-end web development category, which you can get for just $9.99 in description below using coupon coding God? Absolutely. But that does not mean you're entitled to me, my time, my energy, and what what you need to think about is how you can mature and not be codependent on other people. So, anyhow, Dag, you ready for the hurricane? Yeah, we're all good to go. We'll be fine though. So like hurricanes when they come to Florida, typically they hit the East Coast, and then they die out. Tampa area is on sort of the west coast of Florida, if you want to think of it that way. Yeah, what does that even mean? It's time for you to mature. It's time for you to become an adult. And instead of whining, what we do here is we have conversations, we have debates, we are adults. That's all that means. Hey, my boot camp is opening a new office in Tampa. Interested? I could pick up some part-time work. You could shoot me an email. Which is better, GraphQL or RESTful API? They don't have to be like non-correlated. GraphQL is a technology. RESTful APIs are more of a set of principles and methodologies. Am I using any kind of technique like Pomodoro when coding? I'm using the consistent caffeine approach, where when I'm feeling tired, I take a little bit more caffeine. But no, the one thing I would say is try and make your work. So here's one thing that's made me very successful. in the sense of being able to work long hours, is I make my office and my space as comfortable as possible. I have a nice desk. And it's separate from everything else. Like, this is just where I work. That's the only reason this room's here. This is where I work. This is what I do here. And I have it separate from anywhere in the house so I'm not distracted. That's the one thing that really works for me. Now, when it comes to um, working professionally, I always get it. So I always know the 10 pieces as I task them out, break it out, um, and where that's going to lead us. So um, when I hit a task, I'll do a git and I'll do a commit, and usually I can finish. Usually, when I'm thinking of things as tasks, little pieces, we're talking about an hour's worth of work or something. Um, but then I'll go and take a walk. Then I'll go get a snack, get a water, whatever. But I always try to, and sometimes this will make me stay late by half an hour, something like that, where I don't want to leave my code in a state where it's broken, in a state where it's okay to leave it incomplete because you have multiple pieces, but that task isn't going to be incomplete. How to convince your boss to use ES6 instead of old JavaScript? Well, you're just going to have to figure out how to use build tools so you won't have to worry about it. By the way, I'm really enjoying my new React job that I told you about. I finally escaped old tech hell and get compensated well. I'm even getting paid to go to a conference next month. It's amazing. Great. How important are notes, you think? Nowadays, I don't really use notes too much. Sometimes I'll throw something in like a sticky note thing, but that's not too bad. What's your favorite language? JavaScript, because that's pretty much all I use. TypeScript specifically. My videos and free code camp tells you a lot. That's good, man. I wonder if free code camp's gonna do any updates anytime soon. I wonder. It's too hot still. Have I shown you guys my Kratos mug? God of War. Anyone play God of War? Emoji code's the best programming language. Hey, at least we got some real developers in here. Still need to get the game. The game's fantastic, man. I bought it for my buddy as a Christmas present. Oh man. Do you think JavaScript's good for production level apps? Yeah, man. There you go, DS123. How else would you do web development? Like, yeah, you could do other things, but you need more polyfills for the other things. Anything else? And a lot of that stuff you still need JavaScript for. Yeah, I mean the new God of War 4, the reboot, it's not really a reboot, but the new one is in a different tier of quality game. Like the other one's sort of hack and slash, have some fun. This one's like cinematic. It's yeah. How's it going, Maeve? How much does a Myrn Stack developer get paid here? So America's kind of interesting when it comes to developers because you can have one Myrn Stack developer make 50,000 and one make 200,000, depending on where you live and how good you are. Looks like every year you have to deal with hurricane alert. It feels that way. I don't know what 7 to 30 LPA is, or what the conversion is on that. Why do I hate fruit punch so much? Who told you that? That's a lie. I like me some fruit punch, man. The old Hawaiian punch. Do they still even sell that? Is Hawaiian punch still a thing? Do I want to learn AI or machine learning in the future? No. I don't have the time to do that. You still remember last time you went to a Motel 6 was falling water under there? Dude, that was one of the worst experiences of time. What's that? Oh my god, that was miserable. Dude, that was so miserable. That was one of those drives where, like, for 2 days you just feel like death. Absolute death. Vijay Kinya, how's it going? That's my best attempt to pronounce your name. Young lady, maybe sir. I don't know. April said she put too much sugar in it. She's right. It's very sensei. The advantages of using React. So React and Angular are single page applications. And when you use a framework, and people tell you React's a library, we're just going to refer to it as a framework. It gives you some different advantages. Now, what are those advantages? Two-way data binding is one common one. What does that mean? Well, it means that data on the template or in the HTML can be changed by the data in the JavaScript and vice versa. So you have this connection between the template and the controller. So it makes it very easy to change things. Now, the other aspect of single page applications is routing. What does that mean? Well, it means that we don't have to do full page refreshes. So when you do a full page refresh, we have to reinstall the JavaScript, reinstall the libraries, fire off the API calls. When we're working with single page applications with routing, we only have to change. Here, I'll show you something. Can you guys see this? This is just a quick mock I was doing for my website. You see, this is actually using nested routes. So you see the red? This is on the initial page load. This only loads one time. Now, the blue is a different page which changes based on if we go to a documentation page. The orange here is another change depending on how deep we go into the documentation page. So that gives you the ability to only have to load what you need and not have to reload everything. So hence the single page applications, because technically you never refresh the page. It's a single page and you're just updating pieces of the page, and routing is swapping out those pieces, a little piece here, a little piece there. But that's the general idea. But that's why you would use something like React. It makes manipulating the DOM easier. Gives you some functionality you're probably going to need. But yeah. Is that the same as fetch in vanilla JavaScript? Well, fetch. So no, we're getting beyond. I think you're misunderstanding what I'm saying. But yeah, just go watch a video on single page applications, and it'll all make a little bit more sense about why you use single page applications. Then React, Angular, Vue, hell, even Ember. These are things that technologies that you use to make your life easier and make it so that you don't have to do additional page reloads and things like that. Makes your site faster, makes it easier to update, more dynamic. There's quite a bit of reasons why you'd use a framework and a single page application. Which is better, Angular or React? It depends what your use case is. Typically, none of these things are distinctly better than one another. I have my own preference, but most of the time, they both do basically the same thing, or there's a benefit to using one or the other. What's the best way to learn a library? So typically what I would do is I would watch a 1-hour introduction video. I'd then watch a 20-hour Udemy course, and then I'd build something on my own. Why are React and Angular more popular than the rest of the frameworks? Well, React is maintained by Facebook and Angular is maintained by Google. That's one good reason. They have strong software companies maintaining and updating them. Gulper Grunt Webpack. What is better for e-commerce? I don't know. I think probably I don't know. Pan Conquiso Me Gusta. How's it going? I'm good, man. I'm a little tired. I'm waiting for this coffee to kick in. It's 5 o'clock. I took off a little bit early today. I had a meeting. It went pretty well. Set some baseline expectations for something that came down the pipeline. Presented a proof of concept. And now I am after that, I was a little bit drained. I was like, I'm taking off an hour early. So reached out to my boss, my tech lead, asked if they needed anything from me. He said no. I was like, all right, peace out. Went and ran some errands. And now here we are, man. So ordered some pizza. I've been having a little pizza hankering. So I ordered some Domino's. It's so funny. So for those of you who don't know, I worked at Domino's like 5 years, something like that, maybe 4 years. And it's so strange because whenever some of these guys show up, they're all about the same age as me or younger when I was doing it, and I see a little bit of myself in them. And I always want to say, "Hey, bro, learn to code." Let's I just I was like, I hope this isn't your end all be all, because like we can do better. But it's like I see a little bit of myself in my delivery drivers. Is it true that you can exchange food between Pizza Hut and McDonald's, for example? I mean, I don't know. I've worked at some pizza places though, like where they'll trade with local restaurants. But yeah, it does happen. I don't know about that specific one. Am I gonna leave the Domino's guy a fat tip? I always tip pretty well. I tip about 20% for the delivery drivers. So on a $50 order, because I always get extra. If I order pizza, I get like 2 pizzas, 2 wings, and like 2 sides, just so that if you're gonna spend the money, get them here. You might as well order extra. And so it's usually about $55, something like that, and then they get like $10. So I get tip 20%. What sort of piece of shit would I be? Just on a very practical sense. Like, I'm not very pro tipping, but like I do fully understand the cost of gas, and I fully understand the maintenance, and that so. But yeah, I usually tip about 15-20%, something like that. But like, see, just from a practical standpoint, how would I not be able to relate to them having done that? I've worked at Papa John's, I've worked at Rizzo's Pizzeria, I've worked at Domino's, Z Pizza. That's 4 pizza places. Always gotta get the wings. Best sites for getting remote jobs. Um, I don't know. I work full remote now, but I got this job not from working. Like, it didn't start out that way. Favorite food? Something with cheese. Do you want to create your own startup in the future? I want to create my own side projects that will make me enough money that I can work for myself. How much time should you work in a job before creating your own company? 1 to 2 years. Work a job 1 to 2 years, and then start working on your own stuff. Do I use CSS frameworks? Yeah, I use Sass. That's about it. Calzones are good, man. You get a good calzone. There used to be this, I think it's still there in Redondo Beach. There was this New Yorker who had a Italian restaurant, and his calzones were so good. They were like olive oil, ricotta cheese, prosciutto, and mozzarella. So next time I visit home, I'm gonna stop by there. Did I ever try Upwork? Yeah, I actually had an interview with Google off of Upwork, which is kind of random. Do most professional front-end developers only use Sass frameworks for CSS? I would say the majority probably are using Sass or less, and really it's probably for the nesting and variables, although you can use regular variables nowadays with CSS. How far did you get in that Google interview process? Well, for that one, that wasn't like a traditional Google interview. So I've interviewed traditionally. This happened kind of randomly, where they were looking for a front end developer and they needed a contractor, and it was for essentially Google has this thing where they let you could submit like startup ideas or like side project ideas, and it goes through phases where like it gets approved, and then you get maybe like 2-3 months, and then they'll say then you can present something, and if they like it, they'll let you keep going for another 6. And that's sort of what it was. And they needed a front end developer. They decided not to go with me though. In terms of the Google interview, so I've interviewed once or twice with Google. I don't remember, but the traditional, like the normal interview process was sort of a screening call with the recruiter, followed by a tech call with a dev, and then a algorithm video screen share. That's as far as I got. Am I interested in backend development? Yeah, man. I building a RESTful API in Node, Express, MongoDB, and Mongoose right now. Very interested. Well, hello, G-Head, Malidi, Maludo. You plan to travel? Eventually. Probably by the time... right now I'm using Heroku for my hosting provider for my MongoDB server. I don't know that I'll use it long term, but I'm using it right now. Do I plan to travel? Yeah, eventually. So right now, the next couple of years, I'm really focused on getting my passive income up, so that I can travel without coming back and being broke. So I'm saving around $3,000 to $4,000 a month for investments, for paying off the house, all that sort of stuff. Am I gonna blog? Actually, yeah, eventually. But there's so much other stuff I can do. How do you negotiate salary on a contract project? That's a little bit harder. I couldn't tell you. I don't do contracts. Contracts are for bad developers most of the time. Bad or novice developers. I'm neither, so I don't. I don't do contracts. And anybody who tries to convince you otherwise is mistaken. But perhaps I'm mistaken. Usually, people are trying to convince you. Do you remain liberal with clients? I always tell people when negotiating anything, you want to. When negotiating anything, you want to make sure that you're going to be satisfied. Any good sources learn AngularJS from? Yeah, YouTube and Udemy. That would be my go-to. How did you figure out how to host your app in Heroku with MongoDB? I did a lot of Googling, watched a couple videos, and then I sort of pieced it together. I'm self-taught. I am a 2-time college dropout. But so many jobs in this industry are contracts. How many jobs do you need? Because I only need one. So, yes. So JP, if you actually go in the description below, you'll see the books that I recommend. 3 that I would focus on. I'd read Clean Code, The Clean Coder, and I'd also read The Complete Software Developer's Career Guide, in that order. I think you'll get a lot out of it. But those 3 books, you can help me out with the affiliate links down below. So Clean Code is going to teach you how to write good code. The Clean Coder is going to teach you how to be a professional, how to work with the business. And the Complete Software Developer's Career Guide is just going to tell you about the industry, various aspects of it, and just inform you so you kind of have a better idea of what's going on. I saw that Tech Lead got fired from Facebook for having a YouTube channel. He said Facebook tried to get a list of employees that vlog from him. Should tech YouTubers be worried? I watched about the first 3 minutes of it. I watched 2 minutes. I watched all the way up until the Squarespace commercial, so not very much of the video. I couldn't tell if he was joking or not. But I don't know. Here's the thing: do you think Tech Lead gave a shit that Facebook fired him? Probably not. Probably. The truth of the matter is that you should never be fully dependent upon anybody. So the second you start working for somebody else, you should figure out how financially you can make better choices so that that doesn't have to be you. I mean, I don't watch enough tech lead videos to tell you to have a take on if he was serious or not. What I would say is this, Aaron, is that same thing I say for my channel is don't put anything out into the world that you're afraid of will potentially get you in trouble. So he's probably just said something he shouldn't have, and it's a so like I had this conversation literally today with someone from HR about I go on pot my place of business, which is a large global consulting firm, one of the biggest consulting firms in the world, very large company. I don't say where I work, not because I'm ashamed. I'm actually it's a very impressive place. It was number 30 on LinkedIn's 2019 best places to work. And they're hiring. So if you're a senior JavaScript engineer or tech lead, shoot your boy a message if you're in the Tampa or Dallas area. But I don't talk about where I work because one, I don't speak for my workplace. And even though I can say I don't speak for my workplace, people assume I speak for my workplace. It's not a good look, right? You wanna make sure you have that sort of this is Dylan, this is Dylan's work, you know. And even as they are trying to promote themselves as a more IT driven organization, and I go on podcasts and I do courses and all this sort of stuff, I cannot go and talk about where I work in most of these circumstances because there's a lot of people who are very concerned about that sort of stuff. So it's just the world we live in, man. When you start working with companies that have 200,000 employees or 20,000 employees, people are always looking to get sued, and social media is a dangerous thing. It's a powerful thing because you can reach out to the world and you know change lives and touch on things, but that's what's so dangerous about it. And so maybe he said something he shouldn't have said. Do a day in the life of a front-end developer. I've asked at previous companies and they wanted more details. They wanted more, like a previous company I worked with had 500 employees and they wanted more details. It's like, I'm going to come in and I'm going to record what I do on a day-to-day basis. Well, we need more details than that. It's like I'm not trying to force this upon you. But yeah, would I do a day in the life? Yeah, I would. We'll see. Would you think being a self-taught developer easy for applying those big companies with jobs with other competition and other CS graduates? I'm not worried about CS graduates because 9 out of 10 developers suck. So is there going to be more competition? Yes, but there's also a ton more jobs. And I've interviewed with these companies, quite a few of them, and have reached out to me on several occasions. I've turned down the interviews. One, because I'm pretty happy at where I'm at, and two, because I can interview with them whenever I want. Does that make sense? So if I want to interview with Microsoft or Google or Facebook, I can just reach out to one of the 20 recruiters from those companies who have tried to get me to move to San Francisco or Seattle or New York or Austin whenever they want. Am I still looking for challenges? Challenges in what sense? How many days are you required to complete a project? It depends by project, and I'm not required to do anything. One thing that you'll have to learn, and it's different when you're an offsite or onshore versus offshore developer, is that yes, there are deadlines. No, they are not real. And you as a professional need to set expectations. So that's what I do. I set expectations. Does that mean I won't meet those deadlines? No, I usually do. But you come at your boy with something unrealistic, He's gonna hit you with some sarcasm. How am I liking working remote? I love it, man. I absolutely love it. I was doing 3 days a week. My boss said we could do 5 days a week. This was my first week I did 5 days a week. It was fantastic. I had lunch with April every day. I get to spend times with the dogs. Instead of taking breaks where I'm walking around the office, I'm walking around my little community real quick. It's been fantastic. No driving into work. I'm saving money on time and gas and lunch. I get an extra hour and a half to 2 hours of my day back. It's fantastic. It's fantastic. I feel less stressed. Am I challenged anymore? No, I wouldn't say that I'm challenged. There are challenges. I wouldn't say that I'm challenged. But I feel that in other ways. So, um, like at my YouTube channel, the courses I'm building, the side projects, that's really where the challenges are coming that I'm very excited about. It's sort of a weird spot where I'm passionate about software, and so I enjoy what I do, but I'm very passionate about what I do outside of work. Because that to me is the future. What side projects am I working on? Well, I have the YouTube channel. I have the Udemy courses that I release, the podcast, selftaughtornot.com. We have the Facebook coding group, Code Tech and Caffeine. The course that I'll be working on for LinkedIn. I have some sponsored videos this weekend, and the main one right now is Video Dev Docs, which is just coming together so nicely, and we're getting pretty close to I would say by the end of next month, I'll release a pre-alpha. How many jobs do you think would give remote 3 days for junior dev? I don't think you should have remote as a junior dev. I don't think you should do remote more than 1 day a week until you're at senior dev level. Can you speak more on the LinkedIn course? No, not really. It's a course that I think is going to be pretty sweet. But I probably shouldn't have even said anything about working with them. Will a recession affect the tech industry? Not according to the stats. It'll always have an impact. I'm training for Amazon interview. I'm worried about the system design interview. Have you ever had to do one of those? And when they ask you something like design Twitter, design elevator? Yes, actually. I've had when they flew me down to Microsoft in Seattle, they specifically asked me to design an elevator. So what I would focus on with that is just being able to compartmentalize different aspects of the code and how they're all going to link in. Any tips for what to put on a LinkedIn profile without any previous experience? Yes, there are free certificates that you can get. There's a project section, a skills section. There's assessments that you can take. I'd start there. Yeah. So this course is going to be pretty much future proof. Aaron, what I would say would really help you out is actually just whiteboarding it out. That's always going to be helpful. And that's probably what you're going to be asked anyhow. Neil Armstrong says, a friend of mine has recently complaining recently about how his boss is always his employers always put him down. I recommended in your video how to pay developers less, and he told me that is exactly what's happening to them. Yeah, people in the chat thought I was being that it was satire or I was being sarcastic. Not at all. All that shit happens. All of it. So, you have to be about. Here's the thing: 7 out of 10 people hate their job. Another 10 to 15% don't like their job. About 10 to 15% like their job. So, if you're in 80% of people, go get a new job. Go find one where you like your job, where your stress level is low, where you have different things. How could someone from India get a job in the US? Well, you probably have to get a job with a green card. How that works, or be a consulting company that works with a US firm, I don't know. But yeah, everything in that video is truth. That's why I said it was sad, because it's all true. Oh man. But all right, guys, we've been going about an hour. It's been fun. I want to get started on some of these side projects, get my weekend going, all that sort of stuff. I kind of want to shave too. I feel a little itchy. Yeah, I don't know about you guys, but after like 2 weeks, it's time to shave. But as always, thanks so much. And if you're interested in my latest course, the 100 front end interview technical question challenge, that's a mouthful, isn't it? You can get it for $9.99 description below. See you guys next time.